Hello and welcome to this episode of the Creative Crafters. And my interview today is Holly Grace. Now that is hollygrace.ca. So make sure you visit her website for sure. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Holly. Holly Grace is a DIY and lifestyle influencer specializing in fun and easy projects that anyone can do. As well as being a DIY guru, she is a Cricut expert and has been helping people learn how to use their Cricut cutting machine for over 7 years. Through her light and easy to understand teaching style, Holly has guided many new Cricut owners through that nerve-wracking feeling of opening their machine box and getting started. Oh, I know that feeling. Aside from her crafting and blogging life, Holly is a wife and a mother of 2 children. She loves a good cup of tea and spending time with her family, living that good country life. So welcome, Holly. So happy to have you here. Now,
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm going to ask you a couple of questions today because I know the listeners will want to know. Can you please tell the listeners who you are and all about your company and how did your company develop?
All right. So, as I kind of mentioned my little bio there, I've been doing this for roughly about eight years now. I started my blog out of a passion for DIY and crafting. Before I did my blog, people are shocked to find out that I was a dental assistant for 11 years. And I hated every minute of it. I'm a very creative person. So it was very mind-numbing work. So when I got done work, I decided I would go home and I would do what I love to do, and that was crafting. And so I kind of started posting my crafts online. Facebook was more picture orientated. Not a lot of video was going on back then. But people started asking me when they saw the pictures how I made it. Like, can you show me how I did this? So because of that, I thought, you know what, I read a lot of blogs, and I thought, I can do that too. I know I can do that. So I started my own blog, just a quick little blog, and posted some tutorial projects, and it just kind of grew from there. And I was doing my blog for about a year when I got into Cricut. I wanted to take my projects to the next level. So I got a Cricut cutting machine, and then I picked that up really quickly, and people were messaging me for help. So then I thought, I'm going to start showing people how to use their Cricut. So from there, I kind of tailored my blog more to Cricut content and creating with the Cricut, because it just comes very naturally to me. And I do feel for people who get this machine and they don't even know where to start. Like, they don't even want to get it out of the box because they're so intimidated. So I find posting videos and tutorials really helps alleviate some of that stress. And people really liked my teaching style. So from there, I just kind of kept doing it. And here we are, probably almost 9 years later.
Yeah, you mentioned your YouTube channel. Do you have what is the channel called?
So pretty much all my social medias, you can find me if you go to the social media site and you search my handle the @ symbol, Holly Grace Blog. So I kept it very simple, just use the same handle for all of my Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. So if you go to any one of those sites, you can search me that way. But then also, if you go to my site, hollygrace.ca, I have all my widgets at the top right-hand corner, and you can just click on each single social media, and that's another easy way to find me as well.
Yeah, that'd probably be the easiest one right away because hollygrace.ca is easy to remember. So we
Easy.
go there and
Yes.
we can get to your YouTube channel and your other
Yeah.
social media. So I have another question. What part of the crafts do you like the best? Is it paper? Is it vinyl? Or is it just everything?
For me, no, it's not everything. I am definitely a huge fan of IronOn. If I can put it on with IronOn, I choose IronOn over vinyl any day. I love vinyl. Like, it's not like I don't love it, but I just like the ease of using IronOn. I find it's way easier to weed. And it's just an easier product I find to work with. So when I'm coaching people through the beginner process, I actually like to start with iron-on versus vinyl. That's just my personal preference. But I just do find working with the iron-on is the easiest and the best. And I find there are so many beautiful things that you can make, and t-shirts, tote bags, all that stuff to make your life more creative.
Yeah, that sounds like the ideal way to start. I know when I unboxed my Cricut for the first time, it came with this mat that was sticky, and I'm going, what the heck? There was,
Yeah.
there was no direction. So you were definitely
Yeah.
needed at that point. There's no ifs,
Yes.
ands, or buts. Like, what's this sticky thing for?
Yeah.
And no clue. So that is really interesting, how you picked it up so quickly and are now able to teach others. That's really an important part. So when you're imagining a project that you would like to create, what is your thought process, creative process that you go through when you see something? Oh, I want to make that. So, where do you start?
Yeah, for me, I actually pull a lot of inspiration when I'm out at the stores. So, like if you're like in a home decor store, like Michael's, or I know in America, I'm in Canada, but Americans, they have Hobby Lobby. We don't have that here, unfortunately. I wish we did. But when I'm in these crafting stores or home decor stores and I see something, I either like take a quick picture of it with my phone, and I'm like, you know what, I can make that. And not only can I make it, but I can tailor it a little bit more to something that I actually want. Color wise, suits my home, suits my decor, or my own personality. So just always when I'm out and about, I'm always looking at things. Even, billboards when you're driving down the road and you see a product and you're like, that's really cool. I want to make that. But then I love bringing it back to my studio, or like the idea, bring it back to my studio, and then putting my own spin on it. So I'm always looking, and I'm always pulling inspiration from around me.
Yeah, exactly. And it's really interesting as you bring that up. You have two children. And
Yes.
where do you find the time to do the crafting? Obviously, you can't do this 40 hours a week.
Well, and I homeschool my kids. So that
Oh,
takes yeah, so I'm not just a mother, I actually homeschool as well. So you know what, I just kind of fit it in wherever I can. I have my mom. My mom helps me out a lot with the kids and the homeschooling because I was homeschooled as well. So my mom helps out a lot with the kids during the day. So if I can find a few hours to sneak off and kind of do some crafting and some video creating and stuff like that, I do it. But there's also us moms. I'm sure we all know we're used to burning the midnight oil a lot. And I do like the little late night crafting. I love staying up late and crafting. So
yeah, exactly. Now, with my kids, with the crafting, they were always in the room with me. We were making mucky messes all together. And then out of that,
yes.
when they went to bed, then I fine-tuned it and pushed it.
Yes.
Now for me, the,
Yeah.
the children are grown, and Karina, my daughter, works with me in this business, which is great. And she
Oh,
is
nice.
artistic beyond belief. So your kids are probably the same. They really want to get in there and help.
Oh,
And
they do.
it's kind of fun because then they come up with great creative ideas. They really
Oh,
do.
they do. Yeah.
So, what do you find the most challenging doing what you're doing now? I know you were challenged being a dental assistant and, moving away from that and then into your happy place. But, the happy place also brings its challenges. So, any challenges that you go through at all?
Oh, for sure. One big thing for me is I do want to do it all. Like I want to do it all. I want to make everything I see. And then I'm like I said, when I'm out pulling inspiration from the world around me, I'm like, oh, I want to make that. I want to make that. I want to make that. So one of the challenges I have is I do tend to stretch myself a little thin, thinking I can make everything. And then so you see things and you're like, well, it is only $5. Maybe I should just buy it and spare myself the hour or something it'll take me to make it. But so it's that constant balance for me about, making sure I'm not crafting too much and it's taking away from everything else in my life. And actually just balancing, I would say, my passion and what I'm most creative at against stuff that needs to be done per se. So I find trying that playing against that selfish side of myself where I just want to be doing what I want to be doing. And doing that balancing act, if you will.
Yeah, and I mean, I think most listeners probably go through that thing, and they want to protect that crafting time away from anything else. And yes, it can take over. Trust me, it can.
Yeah.
And you just have to make sure you're going through it. It sounds like you're handling it just perfectly. So what do you find the most rewarding aspect of what you're doing right now?
Um, I like that moment when you get to sit back and say, I made that. So like I don't sell any of the stuff that I make. I know a lot of makers do that, and that's very rewarding too. But a lot of my stuff I give as gifts. So if I have to do a video tutorial for something, I'm always thinking about, okay, I'm going to tailor the video tutorial to, like, say, I'm going to make a baby blanket, for example, because I know someone in my life is having a baby, and then I can actually give this as a gift because I'm very like, I don't like wasting, like I don't like wasteful things. So I want to make sure that I'm always making stuff that has a purpose. And I know that's a challenge for a lot of video creators, is that they're just constantly making stuff and it just sits in a pile somewhere. So when I make these things and then I get to give them to people and then they're like, wow, you made that. That for me, like right there is I'm not trying, I don't like want to give myself a big head, but it's that like, that they really value it and they treasure it because you made it. You didn't just go to the store and pick it up. Um, you know, so they're very appreciative when you give a handmade gift. And so that feeling for me is like, better than anything. I just love that feeling that they love it so much because they know that you made it with your own two hands.
Yeah, and I love that idea, the handmade gift. Now I have a lot of stuff sitting in my studio as well, and eventually somebody will get it as a
Yeah.
gift.
Yeah.
And that's the perfect way to go. So what advice would you give someone who's interested in doing what you do?
I would say it's like, to me, people sit on this for a while and they're like, could I do that? Could I do? And then they go back and forth. It's like a band-aid. Just rip it off and do it because, you could sit there and you can hum and haw and you can debate about whether you should do something or not. But you're never going to know if you're good at something, or you're never going to know if you like something unless you actually try it. So there's no harm, I would say, in trying something and then going, you know what, that's not really for me. But there is harm in not trying and then sitting there your whole life or years gone by, and then you're like, I wish I would have tried that. I wish I would have taken the plunge. Because if you try and then you're like, no, it's not for me, at least you get to sit back and say, hey, I did it. It didn't work out, but we're moving on. So I always tell people, just go for it. Just do it. Just see if you like it. And if you don't, you don't. But you know what? 9 times out of 10, I'm going to say people love crafting. They love, even if you're just crafting for just yourself, not for video content, or you want to be a creator, the crafting period is just so rewarding.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I've had many disasters that I've wanted to throw out the window, but you just keep picking at it until
Yes.
you find the stuff that you really love. And that's going to be true
Yeah.
for everyone. So one last thing is just I want to make sure that the listeners connect with you. We mentioned hollygrace.ca, and if you can just tell us again about your YouTube and other social media, that would be
Mhm.
great.
Yeah. So I would really appreciate if anybody's looking for Cricut help or even just crafting in general. I do a lot of other content, just not just Cricut. So I'm very big into like budget DIYs, getting the most out of your money. And so I really appreciate it if anybody wants to follow me over, especially on YouTube. That's where you can find all my video content, but as well on Instagram. So if you're looking more so to connect with me on a one-on-one level, I'm very open to people messaging me on Instagram if they need help. That's probably the best place if you want to like actually connect with me. Just send me a message on Instagram. I'm on there all the time. And if you're ever stuck on something, I'm not one of these bloggers or content creator that won't respond back to you. I can say confidently, unless it's a spam message, I respond to every single person that messages me on Instagram. So if you need help, just putting it out there. I would love to have you follow me along on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And like I mentioned, you can find all my social media handles on my website at the very top, all the little, I say widgets, but just in case anyone doesn't know what that means, it's the little symbols, the social media symbols on the top right hand of my blog. And I would love to have any listeners join my crafting community. I would love to see you over there on my channels.
Great. Thank you so much. I've been talking to Holly Grace at hollygrace.ca. Make sure you subscribe to her YouTube channel and get on top of her blog. Just see what she has to offer you. This is going to be absolutely amazing. I just want to thank you once again, Holly.